Check, check, check. Welcome, everybody, to Morgan City, Louisiana. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is Charles Ginchard running the live stream. We're here in Morgan City, Louisiana. We have Naughty Water Racing. This is our season opener for the Texas Outlaw Series. Oh, looks like we had to get off there, and ski going towards. Ski bumping in the rocks. Hopefully they're all right. This is our Runabout Beginner and Runabout Amateur Naturally Aspirated class. On the number 89, we have James Dowden. On the number 424, Ian Nuschke. And on the number 297, Baron Mernick. Let's see who we got here. This looks like the 297 of Baron Mernick. Baron is on the J. Caldwell Racing Team, sponsored by J. Caldwell Pools. Sponsored by Monster Energy also, I believe. Let's see. If you're here locally, you're hearing Joey Domang on the mic. And that's Sean Dudek right there, East Coast Watercross. East Coast Watercross provided me with this nice little race trailer where I am out of the rain. Because the rain is coming and going this weekend, but it really hasn't been so bad. It's provided a pretty good chop for these folks. That's number 89, James Dowden, out of Kiln, Mississippi. So you can even see, even on a big runabout like that, they're getting bounced around fairly well. But this is probably the calmest the water has been between yesterday and today. So this is Ian. Ian, I believe, is out of Gulfport, Mississippi. Ian also is no stranger to Morgan City. Ian regularly participates in the Mudbug rides here that GreenHulk puts on. I believe Thursday Ian said he did maybe 180 miles out in the swamp on one of his runabouts. So if you guys have not heard of the Mudbugs and what they do in Morgan City, those are sponsored by GreenHulk Performance. And we will get over 100 big enthusiast runabout riders that come out and participate in the Mudbugs. And it's an unofficial rec ride. Basically, you got to know where to go and when to show up. Usually it's Dry Ron's Landing here in Morgan City. You meet sometime in the morning. You get a group together. And then you do sometimes over 200 miles in the swamp on fast runabouts, exploring some of the beautiful swamp trails we have here in Morgan City. So that's what Ian's been doing. And because he did that, yesterday on the slalom course, Ian was the fastest time on the slalom, and he completed at least 100 miles in the swamp. So Ian right here, he got $1,000 cash from Greg Gaddis of GreenHulk. So keep that in mind, because we're going to put this place on the calendar next year. If you notice ahead, that is the head of Matt of Circus Media right there. Flying his drone. Say what's up, dude. That looks like the 89 of James Dowding coming in. So I apologize if the camera works a little off. I'm going to try and do announcing and race panning here. Joey Domang is on the mic, but unfortunately where I have to set up for this is too far for any of our cables. So you're going to have to listen to me and watch these racers. But I tell you what, I'm probably just going to be quiet most of the time and turn this ambient mic up so you can hear the skis go. But this is your Runabout beginner, Runabout naturally aspirated stock. Looks like Barron pulled off the track. Oh, that was a checkered flag. So apologies, guys. I kind of trying to announce and trying to film. I think I lost track of who the leader was. It looks like that must have been Baron Mernick that took the lead. All right, so let's see who we have on the line coming up next. All right, moto number 2. This is Ski Junior 1012 Lights. For Ski Junior, we have on the number 33, Cash McLaurin, on the 279, Colton Gruenwald. Both folks that traveled pretty far. Cash came all the way from Saudi Daisy, Tennessee. Colton, they came all the way from Florida, but they're on their way to moving back to Lake Havasu City, Arizona. So thanks to the Gruenwalds for coming out. And then also in moto number 2, we have Ski Novice Lights on the 106, Javier Falcone, 160, Andrew Vo, and 543, Jared DeLong. Jared's saying he's from Brazil, Indiana. All right. For a second there, I was like, do we have more international riders? Because we actually have some international guys from Vietnam out here. I think we have at least one Scotsman watching, and we have 3 folks from Vietnam competing that came over here with Tony Vo from Jet Tribe. But here you go, coming up for moto number 2. Okay, and while we're waiting for them to get started, you can take a look right here. We're on moto number 2 out of 12 that I will be live streaming, and this is the second round of motos for the day. So this is every race you watch is every race that's happening today, but each of these classes or each of these races is going to be run twice, and you're watching the second one. So as you can see, when you look on this list, you just watched Moto 1 Runabout Amateur and Beginner. You're about to watch Moto 2 Ski Junior and Novice Lights. And assuming there's no technical difficulties and we don't get blown away, but the weather's looking okay, you're going to follow this live stream all the way through Moto 12. If for some reason it does go down, I'll put it right back up. Just come back and find me. Wherever you're watching it right now is where it'll come back up, but I'll just have to fix whatever the problem is and keep going. So tell your friends, share the stream. Definitely appreciate it. All right, and here we go. Oh, let me get my caption back up. Moto 2 on the line. So because I don't have an announcer, I'm going to turn this directional shotgun mic up as much as I can, so you're going to hear a bit more of the ambient. So basically what you hear is if you were standing right where I am on the shore. We're just not plugged into Joey over there on the mic. All right, that's the 279 at Colton Gruwald, followed by number 33. So if you've never watched jet ski racing before, the way we start, we all start on the line there, and then we have an inside and outside split. So half of the riders are going down one set of slalom right now, and half the riders going another set of slaloms. Some of them are going down these blue buoys, and they go across these two white buoys you see that are merged, and here's where we see who's coming out in front. That looks like the 160 of Andrew Vo, followed by the 33. Is that Cash McClure from Saudi Daisy, Tennessee? So here's Andrew Vo with your hole shot on the 160. Andrew, of course, sponsored by Jet Tribe, all the way here from Sulphur Springs, Texas. All right, I think there you're looking at the 41 of Tristan Hebert. And again, apologies. Thanks for bearing with me. I'm going to try and do some announcing and some filming here, so I'm not going to be able to look at the sheet all the time. So I'm probably going to get some numbers wrong. But when in doubt, I'll just let you listen to the motors. Let's catch up with our leaders. It looks like we've had a lead change. Let's see. No, that's still Andrew Vo. Okay, I just don't recognize his wetsuit. Like Andrew Vo, then Cash McClure, then the 395, then the 41 of Tristan Hebert, then let's see, 106, that's Javier Falcone right there. I know Ria's watching Javi as well, as I think he's normally got quite a bit of family that tunes in on him. And then here we got Colton Grunwald. I tell you what, we have some bumpy conditions out there right now. Oh, looks like Cash might make the pass. Andrew managed to hold him off. Looks like they're following each other through that outside split. If you notice, there's blue buoys in between our vantage point and these two leaders. Those blue buoys are a separate inside split, so they could have chosen to go two different routes there and try and pass each other. However, Cash decided to follow Andrew. Andrew had a bobble, and potentially if Cash had taken that inside split, he might have been able to make the pass. So this next time around, let's see if Cash decides to follow him or if he thinks he's got a better chance of going a different direction. So let's see. They're going around these three orange sweepers. And then there's a decision buoy. Here we go. Cash is already out. That stripe is their decision buoy. So now they decide which split they're going to take. Cash is going inside. And it looks like Andrew now is going to go for the outside split. So there's a blue buoy behind our course marshal there. but Cash looks like easily sweeps around Andrew for the split. So now your new leader, at least by my eyes, there may be a missed buoy or something I don't know about, but by my eyes, it looks like number 33, Cash McClure, in first. Andrew Vo on the 160 in second, and that is most likely, let's see, the 595. I'm not sure who. Apologies, but I don't know who that is. Cash is coming up on some lap traffic. See what this does to him, man. These boys are going back and forth. Nice ride, and this is rough conditions. Cash is opening up his lead pretty good now. Let's see where we're at. This looks like a checkered flag. Congratulations, Cash McClure, Moto 2. I don't know off the top of my head where he finished Moto 1, but unless he had a major mistake, I'd expect Cash to have been up there in one of the top spots for Moto 1. So that is a likely win for the day of Cash McClure. Solid riding by Andrew too. He didn't let him walk away. He kept giving him a pretty good fight. All right, now we're moving on to Moto 3 Ski Vintage. Our vintage riders today, they might be taking the prize for one of the most difficult rides you're going to have out here. These skis, a lot less power, a lot less technology in them. You're looking at square nose Superjet and 3 Kawasaki 550s. Let's see who's on my list. Ski Vintage 550, you got Ryan Grant on the 86 out of Magnolia, Texas. On the 504, you have Sean Carlson out of Corpus Christi, Texas. And on the 550 with the number 550, very clever, the Sean Whitaker from Garland, Texas. Sean Whitaker, of course, is one of the best 550 mechanics out there. He works at Dale's Jet Sports, so Sean better have a reliable ski that makes this whole moto. And then let's see, there is another rider out there that unfortunately is not on my list, but I know he's doing the square nose Superjet, number 91. Thanks for coming out here. So 3 550s versus a square nose. All very difficult skis to ride. These guys, I tell you, they'll be racing, but they will also be doing some survival laps out there. Ryan Grant's all the way to your right on the 86. He's got a beautiful 550 he's been restoring. Ryan does a great job getting his gel coat looking good, getting his graphics looking good. Just to his left on the 550, number 550, Sean Whitaker. Sean, yesterday, man, we had bigger waves yesterday. He caught some air on his 550. All right, here we go. You can hear a little bit of those water boxes clearing out under the wind. You'll hear them when they get close. So that's Sean Carlson out on the 504, getting a nice lead. Oh, and there goes that lead. Sorry, Sean. So who's actually going to come around for the whole shot? We got Ryan Grant and Sean Whitaker there. Oh, and there goes, all right. Now, you may have mentioned to me before that these guys are going to be racing, but in conditions like this, they're also going to be surviving. And sorry, guys, but I think that's what y'all are doing right now. There's potentially a bunch of stuff they've done to these boats, but if you think of it in terms of jet skis, these guys are riding maybe like a Model A Ford right now. The last time we saw him at a jet ski race, but man, hats off to you, Ryan. You were killing it. I don't know if y'all notice, it's getting a little darker. You're starting to hear a little bit of stuff blow around. Our weather may be turning just a hair. I'm actually going to pause this camera and check on this trailer. It's making some sounds I don't like. See that flag. Let's catch up with Sean Carlson. Man, Sean, you had a killer hole shot out front of these other guys. I know personally was out there. I did all right getting the hole shot, and then you get pretty gassed out pretty quick. Buoy. Looks like he's going to the outside split. Right in front of Mama and Papa watching. It's one very nice thing about Morgan City is the locals here, they're digging the races. They're happy to have us. We're at Lake End Park, which is just a beautiful RV resort on Lake Pelord in Morgan City. The park has been incredibly accommodating to us. All the locals are happy to have us. They're very friendly. They like seeing the two strokes. They like seeing the GP skis. They dig the sounds. They're not minding the noise. Congratulations, Ryan Grant, looking good on the 550. I wish I knew how everybody finished in Moto 1 so I could start telling you who won for the day, but very nice, Ryan. See him going through my cypress trees. I dig it. A little bit of Louisiana swamp culture right in there in the race course today. All right, Moto 4 on the line. Let me pan over there so you can see what I'm talking about. I could use 2 extra hands and 2 extra heads today. Moto 4 on the line, Runabout Amateur 1100 stock. We have Brianna Weiler from Dripping Strings, Texas, with Lewis Weiler, also from Dripping Strings, Texas. Brianna's on the 149 and Lewis is on the 504. That's who you're looking at right there. Also, on the number 2003, Charles Stackhouse. Okay, let me pan over. It looks like Charles is on the outside split. There we go. 3 riders. Runabout Amateur 1100 stock. Oh, I can hear a little bit of Joey singing some Texas BS on the radio. Joey, we're not in Texas right now. We're in Louisiana swamp. And for those of you asking, the air temperature is not so bad. I think our high is going to be 76 today, low of 70. So we got some drizzle coming and going, and we got a pretty good breeze going. We've had a little bit of sunshine. This morning we saw a rainbow and some sunshine and rainbows. But, I mean, it's damp off and on, but we're comfortable. It's not bad. So we got Brianna Weiler, Lewis Weiler, and Charles Stackhouse in this moto. This is live, if you guys are asking. If anything, you might have a delay of a few seconds, but this is live. So this is Charles Ginchard running the live stream. I am operating the camera, trying to do a little bit of announcing because I'm too far away to plug into Joey Domingue. Joey's here down here from Texas announcing locally, but we're on 2 different sides of the lake. So this is live. I'm panning the camera, zooming the camera, holding a list of riders, trying to read them off when I can, tell you a little bit about what's going on. And when I can, I'll look down at the computer and see what kind of comments you guys are talking. But for the most part, if I'm operating the camera, I can't see. So here we go. Pretty even match for these 3. This is what we like to see. Even if there's just 3 of them on the line, if they're matched evenly and they're having good racing, like, that's all right. bouncing around as we pick up a little bit. Charles looks like he's the only one on that outside split, so he's going around there. He's going to pick up those orange and yellow buoys, while our two Weilers here are on the inside split, going in through all the blues. So let's see as we come up to our merge who's going to get the whole shot. They each have a couple turns left. And now the inside split needs to stay on the right side of that white buoy. The outside split should go on the left side of that, which it looks like they all did. And now they're back on the course for a few laps. I'm not sure how many. This 1100 class is a great class for y'all to get into if you want to start doing some racing. It can be an affordable class. These skis, you can get on them. It can be very competitive, probably because it's one of the more affordable classes, but these skis are fun. This is the kind of ski where you can buy it from the dealership and put, maybe a few $1,000s worth of parts and modifications into it and really wake these skis up. Let's track here and see our other two riders come through so you can get a sense of what the gaps look like. Looks like they're spreading out pretty well. I can zoom out and catch this other part of the track here too. These buoys right here will be used. These green buoys on the end here is what we used for slalom yesterday. We had 5 of them set up. There was a $1,000 cash prize on the line for the quickest rider on the slalom and went to Ian. We'll be doing that again next year. So if you want to come here and win some cash for the slalom, come do the Mudbug. Get out in the swamp, enjoy yourself, check out Morgan City, eat some of the food, and take Greg Gaddis's money. Little get off there. Let's see. We're looking for a thumbs up. That's Charles Stackhouse. He's leaning back, thinking about. Give me a thumbs up, Charles. There we go. There's a hand. Definitely looks like he needs to catch his breath. Doesn't look like anybody hit him or he hit his ski, but man, coming off on one of these turns, you get your bell rung pretty good. And really getting off your ski like that, the energy you got to put through to catch back up to it and get on it, even if you don't lose much position, that's a huge impact to your conditioning. Caught me there. I keep forgetting I'm inside of a trailer. I want to keep panning over and there's a wall in the way. So view is slightly restricted, but being out of the rain here is the only way I'd be able to do this. That's your ski GP class getting ready to warm up. They'll be on the line next. as these Rec Light folks finish her out. Where are we at? What flag do we got? Only halfway? I could have sworn we'd be farther than that by now. Let's see. There's Charles Stackhouse back on his ski. Looks like he just needed a breather and a ride, but he must have been doing all right. Once you fall, for the most part, you're going to be out of the race unless you had a big lead. So no harm in catching your breath, thinking about life's decisions. But good on you for getting back out there, finishing your race. Glad he's all right. So I hope we got some of our local folks taking a look at this, or some of the folks that normally ride the Mudbug. As you can see, there's a class for you to race in. These folks, all three folks that have been on the track, they've been participating with us for a few years. They're out there racing. They're having a good time. But as you can see, this isn't something that needs to be too intimidating. There are definitely a lot of skis out there that we're doing the Mudbug that if you guys are interested in this, or you think you like it, we've got a beginner runabout class we can put you in. Beginner runabout, so long as your ski isn't more power than you can handle, we'll get you out there, we'll show you how the course works, and get you having a good time. Looks like Charles is doing a bonus lap. The checkered flag flew, but he's still going. Let's pan over and check out. This ought to be Pro-Am Ski GP. This is an IGSBA sanctioned event. This event is brought to you by Naughty Water Racing, that's owned by Terry Hebert. Race director Justin Smith is out here. Some big local support came from the city of Morgan City, letting us use Lake End Park. Morgan City's been very helpful. They've got our EMTs with the fire department out here. They've got Morgan City PD is out on the water, watching the course perimeter. Been a very good, nice city to work with. It's a beautiful space. They've been very accommodating to us. So yeah, it's an IGSBA sponsored and sanctioned event. They're providing the racers insurance while they're on the water. Naughty Water Racing is your local promoter. Justin Smith is in your tower acting as race director, I believe. This is Charles Ginchard on the mic, and right now you have Ski Pro-Am GP plus Adrian Fisk on a stock 1500. Don't let the caption deceive you. Adrian Fisk is not on a GP ski. Adrian Fisk might not even have shoes on. Look closely as he goes around. We'll see. Ski Pro-Am GP on the number 37. You have Tim Miller. On the number 85, you got Jules Hopkins out of Biloxi, Mississippi, sponsored by Performance Jet Ski and Cycle, H Factory and Commander Industries. Jules Hopkins works at Performance Jet Ski and Cycle with his dad, Gary Hopkins, who's a great mechanic. If you think Jules' ski is fast, Jules and Gary did it. If you would like your ski to go as fast as them, one, hit the gym, get some experience, but two, Jules and Gary down at Performance Jet Ski and Cycle, they can make your ski go faster too. Also out there, you got 114, Sean Dudek out of Laconia, New Hampshire. Thanks for coming down, Sean, and thanks for providing this nice race trailer in. Sean is the promoter of East Coast Watercross. His partner in crime on the 595, Kelly Wilcox, also from New Hampshire, came down. And then the number 730, Braden Seban from Connecticut. 3 East Coasters, a Texan, and a Mississippian out there. And then Adrian Fisk on the 35. All right, nice work, Jules. That's Gary Hopkins, Performance Jet Ski and Cycle. They're running a Fuel Tech ECU. He's done all kinds of stuff to his engine. I think he's running E85, who knows what else, and his Commander. But here comes Tim Miller on the inside split. Let's see what it looks like. All right on Tim. I believe Tim's his own mechanic, but Tim's also sponsored by Caldwell, J. Caldwell Racing, Dean Steam Performance. Monster Energy, of course. Hard to announce when those big skis are going by, but you got Tim Miller, sponsored by Monster Energy, out front. You'll see Tim racing his runabout and his stand-up in our series, but also you'll see him ride the monster skis for P1 Aquacross. Tim, of course, is one of the team mechanics for John Caldwell and Cooper Caldwell as they do all of P1 underneath their Monster Energy sponsorship. I'm not sure if they're working. It was under Chris McCluggage last year. Oh, looks like we got a lead change. Jules Hopkins out front now on that beautiful green Commander GP1. Finished in Moto 1, but I'd assume those guys were 1, 2. Oh, sorry, Tim. Quick bobble. Looks like his ski might have shut off, but it got right back on. No telling. Let's catch up with Jules going through the splits here. Jules taking the inside. Split across the front straight. I see the halfway flags. That green and yellow looks good in the swamp at a GreenHulk event. Tim. Looks like he's still in the number 2 spot. All these racers are going for quite the ride out there, in and out of the water. Sometimes over the wave, sometimes through the wave. Coast crew for this guy. Looking very good. Very good, especially considering this is the third, maybe second race he's gotten to do on this ski. His first ride was down in Florida with the East Coast crew, and then he went back home, and his ski came here to Louisiana, so thanks for coming here. And let's catch up with Sean Dudek, your East Coast watercross promoter. Let's see. I see green flag, we're halfway, so these guys keep going. Kelly Wilcox, also one of our East Coast guys, moving along. At this point in the race, I can tell you this is survival. These skis take a lot of conditioning to ride, and as soon as you get behind the ski and you're getting a little tired, that ski gets even harder to ride. I'd say the water's looking a little choppy. All right, Jules taking the outside split, it looks like. Nope, here's the decision. Let's see which way he goes. Way out of the water there. Around that blue buoy for the inside split. Class of his own on a stock boat out there. Riding goggleless on a stock boat. Now, believe it or not, today, some of these guys might have wished they're on a stock boat. A little heavier. Might not get thrown around by the waves quite as much as some of these GP skis when it's this rough. There you go, Dudek. Why you gotta do that right in front of the camera? There's plenty of track to do that, and you do that right when I put the camera on you there. And there goes Tim. Bonus points for everybody Jules laps. That means they got one less lap to do. Once he crosses the finish line, everybody's going to be finished. Let's see, this buoy just got hit and it looks like it's drifting away. I think y'all saw that. Let's catch Jules across the finish, but I think we got a rogue buoy leaving. Nice work, Gary Hopkins, working on that boat. Obviously, if your boat's not reliable, you won't make it through the race. Good job, everybody. Thanks for the correction, Mike Bernhardt. Larry Spector is a race director out here. Wink right back at you. That is a BP concept ski for the lead, Brandon. Those BP graphics do look very good. Shiny graphics. I want to say, I think you might have done Tim Miller's ski too. I think that might also be a BP ski, so they got a few of those out there. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. All right, Moto 6, 4-stroke lights and Mod 1100. Let's see who we got coming up. Moto 6 on the number 41, you have Tristan Hebert from Wichita, Kansas, sponsored by Big Fish Bail Bonds, Naughty Water Racing, Dad, Terry Hebert, our promoter, obviously, and Smith Racing. On the number 297, you got Baron Mernick on a Commander. Baron is the newest member of the Jay Caldwell Pools racing team. Very glad to have them here. They're wonderful folks to have at the race team. They will feed you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I think they are smoking ribs right now. On the number 595, Sebastian Wilcox out of Franklin, New Hampshire. Sponsored by Jet Trim, Jet Pilot, Moto Options, Sky Optics, Showtime Freestyle, No Limit Metalworks, Z-Force Racing, Dad's Overtime. Thank you for coming down all the way from New Hampshire. Also out there on the UA7 boat, one of our local boys, Felix Myronenko. Originally, Felix and his dad are from Ukraine, but I think they also live in Flower Mound, Texas. On the 106, Javier Falcone out there again. On the number 160, Moon Lee. This says Wichita, Kansas, but I'm not so sure about that. And also on the 160, so we have two 160 boats out there. It says Andrew Vole from Sulphur Springs, Texas. Not exactly sure what you're looking at. Also, we have on the number 53, Gary Holbein Jr. coming in from Fairhope, Alabama. Thank you to the Holbeins for coming out here. We appreciate it. All right, that's your lineup for ski 4-stroke lights and Mod 1100. I think there's a subcategory out there depending on age groups or whatnot, but just know this is 4-stroke lights. So that's your Yamaha Superjets that you're looking out there, the new Yamaha Superjets that have the 1050. But it also is the Mod 1100. So all these boats have the same Yamaha 1050 power plant in there, but you see the two Commanders basically took one of these Superjets as a donor boat and put it in a Commander hull. That's something that's new, happening about in this last year. It gets you the handling of the aftermarket hulls, a lot of the handling, a lot of the performance. Sometimes it can just be more fun to have something like that. It's lighter, it's flashier, it can be whatever you want. But maybe you don't want the power of a 1500 in there. That's a lot of power for anybody to handle. So the way these boats are set up now, I know Commander does one, Bullet does one, Fast Power Sports might be able to do it too. I think all the aftermarket hulls can do this now. You can choose, do you want your donor boat to be a Yamaha 1050 or a Kawasaki 1500? And they may even be able to convert it to a 1500 when you grow up a little bit, if you choose to and want a little bit more power. So this is a class that's exciting to see these new Mod 1100 boats. A GP ski, but a little bit less power. Of course, it's a little lighter, but for a lot of us out there, we don't need that 1500 power. All right, let's see. We ought to be getting started soon. Moto 6. Gary Holbein out there, he's got a lot of sponsors. I can go ahead and read those out. Gary Holbein Jr. on the 53 from Fairhope, Alabama. Jet Blast Performance, of course. Jet Blast of Mississippi, Commander Industries. Jet Pilot, Liquid Moly, Jet Trim, 3Cs Properties, and Iron Horse Wrecking. And unless their plans have changed, I believe you're also going to get to see Gary Jr. out on the P1 course this year, too, riding a Runabout. So he's doing a little bit of crossover. Stand up and sit down. Now, it does look to me like Justin Smith is doing a little bit of race directing as well right now. That looks like you also got Dale Swanson standing behind me, and that must be Larry Spector to his right. So let's see if I can figure out what we're waiting on. Well, that's a course marshal ski, so maybe we were fueling up some course marshals. I think we might be resetting that buoy we talked about. Let's see. Well, I'm not sure. That's Charlie Bumpus out there. Let's see, what is he working on? All right, called it. It looked like one of our skiers bumped into a buoy and may have knocked it loose. So here you go with Rob Crow. He's got a wonderful GreenHulk Performance supplied cinder block. Get the best cinder blocks in the business from GreenHulk. We're going to reset one of our buoys out there. I'm not sure which one it might be. So, brief intermission. And again, if you are all watching, we're just waiting a minute while the course marshals secure a new anchor to one of our buoys. Okay, here we go. I see Justin Smith. Lighten him up. Green light. Let's go, boys. Felix with a very good hole shot, holding right in there with that 1050 mod boat. I think we're looking at Baron Murnick here. I want to say Baron has a motocross background and is one of the newer crossover athletes that might be doing both. I'll have to ask John Caldwell if that's the case. But Gary Holbein Jr., you can always count on Gary to be a dang quick rider. Flopping around. All right, let's catch up with our leaders. Where's Gary at?
close, I'm over your head. If you're close to me, you can be in front of me.
what's contributing to this kind of interesting shot we have here. It's deep enough to be safe, but it is not overly deep. I want to say the deepest part of our course might be 10 feet. Coming across the start, it's maybe waist deep. Wait a minute. I think Gary just missed a buoy. Let's see if our course marshals caught that. I think Gary might have only hit one of the two yellows for that box turn. And I don't know if he knows he made the mistake. There's a black makeup buoy on the back corner of this course. I'll show you when he gets there. If you make an accident like that, you have an opportunity to make the buoy up if you do it on your next available opportunity. So in this back corner, Gary's going to come up on a black makeup buoy, and hopefully he hits it. If he doesn't hit it, he's going to be down a lap. And of course, that's just based on what I think I saw. We have to see what the course marshals catch also. So let's see. He does take the black makeup buoy. Okay. Good call. Here he's at the decision maker. Is he going to do the inside or the outside split? Looks like he's taking the outside split. I see the white flag out, so this might be his final lap. Here comes the rain. Thanks again to Sean Dudek and East Coast Watercross for letting me use their race trailer. If it wasn't for that, there would not be a live stream right now. This equipment is not waterproof. Moto 7 Sports Spec. This is our most competitive class of the weekend. On the number 37, you have Cooper Caldwell from Fort Worth, Texas. On the number 69, Joey Malden from Kaufman, Texas. On the number 72, Sean Whitaker out of Garland, Texas. On the number 86, Ryan Grant from Magnolia, Texas. On the number 111, Skinny Latte, but we all know she's Skinny Casey Moore from Melissa, Texas. John Lindley, Sulphur Springs, Texas on the 410. Also on the 410, Brian Ricky Boy Snyder from Sulphur Springs, Texas. Let's see what the heck they do with the numbers there. On the 502, Charlie Bumpus, our course marshal. Charlie's course marshal and doing double duty and also out there racing, so we're glad he gets to do both. On the number 504, Lewis Weiler from Dripping Springs, Texas. And on the number 523, Shannon Watson from Wichita, Kansas. All you Louisiana folks, as you can see, Texas is thoroughly represented. Now we just need some Louisiana folks to come on out. That is Moto number 7, Sports Spec. Well, as you can see and hear, the rain has begun. We've gotten pretty lucky today based on what the forecast said it was going to be. We've mostly had just overcast weather without too much rain, but I haven't heard or seen any thunder, so we're going to keep going. We'll get things reset. Sports spec on the line, a stacked line. And looking at the radar, this has mostly been just scattered things passing by. So hopefully the sports spec guys are the only ones that got a rain in the race in these kind of conditions. But rain or not, you're going to get soaked on this course today with these waves that are coming in. All right, I recognize Malden and Moore up there. And I knew he was out there, but he wasn't on my list. That's Torrey Snyder out front, coming all the way from South Florida. And we got a bobble in the foreground. That's epic. All right, Torrey Snyder from the inside start with your hole shot. Looks like followed by Casey Malden in second place and Casey Moore in third. See if we can find some battles going on in the back of the pack. They look like they're fairly evenly spread out right now. Torrey Snyder with a pretty good lead. Second place on the 6.9. Here's Casey Moore in third on the 111. And that looks like Ryan Grant on his 9.6. Looking very good. Very smooth. Final lap for Tori. Snyder built. Tim Judge power plant. Good work, Tori. Here you come. Checkered flag. Hey, Matt. I just gotta say, this is a beautiful view. Look at all these skis and all that nice Spanish moss coming down in the oaks and the cypress trees there. Even when it's not racing, come on down here to Lake End Park. They've got, I think, 147 full-service hookups. This beautiful beach connected to probably at least 1,000 miles of swamp trails out here. Bring your boat. Bring your family. They've got plenty of little prop stop bars that'll show you a good time. Point at the accommodating frame. Yeah. No problem. basically take you staying here next to my camera while I don't do anything.
Yeah, no, you're good. I just had the other to watch one.
Thank you. All right, everybody, we're at Moto 8 Ski Novice Stock. Got number 18. Tran. This is one of Tony Vo with Jet Tribe brought 3 riders from Vietnam. They're beginner riders. They bought SXR 1500s that they found used locally. Got great deals on all of them. So we got 3 riders that we're very happy to have here, all the way from Vietnam. Ooh, catching my breath. Just did a bit of a jog. All right, on the 18, Tan. Apologize, I know I'm not pronouncing that right. On the 36, T Sport. And on the number 92, Trung Nguyen Tan. And also out there, we have Adrian Fisk on the 35 from Houston, Texas. And on the 160, Andrew Vo from Sulphur Springs, Texas. So we're very excited to have some international folks out here. And again, this goes to show, like, jet ski racing doesn't need to be intimidating. These folks are new to it. They're figuring it out. They're battling some very rough conditions. Obviously a language barrier. You know, they don't know anybody here. But believe it or not, we found at least Tony Vo is bilingual, and then some of the GreenHulk folks actually were partially bilingual. So want to make them feel at home, but any of y'all that might want to participate in this, we've got a place for you. Not quite sure what we're working on. I hear him talking about something. Maybe waiting on a holder. And there's one rider out there that I don't have on a sheet. I know they printed out the race order and gave me names, and I think people kept registering. So, oh, that might be 54, Thomas Lambert from Gray, Tennessee. I do have that on my list. So 5 riders. Ski Novice stock, vet stock, and maybe a 4-stroke light out there. All right, here we go. These are our 3 international riders going out front on the 1500s. Hats off to these folks for traveling very far from home, working very hard for Tony Vo while they're here. This is their introduction to jet ski racing. Looks like at least one of them is on the inside split, the others might be on the outside. Jules, you want to get on the mic?
Oh, no.
Well, you are.
Oh, am I?
Yep.
Yeah, that last moto was raw.
Yes, it was. All right, where'd we go? All right, here we go. Good green flag racing. I see 2 of our international riders, followed by Adrian Fisk. I think he did a dead engine start. Adrian's been riding for several years. Shoot, I don't know. Maybe he might have a decade under his belt by now. I'm not sure. But Adrian's a very accomplished ski stock rider, catching up on the 2 novices, beginners. Good on them for being out there on these stock skis. Very difficult conditions out here. But you got to remember, if you're a beginner racer, you still might be an expert rider when you compare yourself to the general public. But when you get on a race course like this with other folks and the buoys make you turn at specific spots, and I tell you, they're riding in conditions that most folks, if you were just out there to have some fun and drink some beers with your friends, you probably wouldn't be riding today. Bit of a breeze, bit of rain, so some of the folks, myself included, that are very much mediocre on the racetrack, not mediocre riders. Looks like Adrian's up into second place. We'll get off. Glad we caught that. It's the shoes, I'm sure. It's because they made him wear shoes now. Good looking Jet Tribe kit on them, of course. Jet Tribe sponsoring them, being an ambassador to the sport internationally. Let's see, I hear the whistle. It's got to be this rider there. On the 54, getting mounted, getting back up. Actually out there on an 800, it looks like. See the white flag out. Looks like Adrian Fisk is coming into the lead here. And again, a lot of this is just getting some new riders out on the track, making sure they understand how racing works, which way the course goes. They're in a very foreign land. Nobody's speaking their language. So hats off to them for hopping out there and figuring out the course. Field of view is like a little obstructed, but really above your ear, and we got that one down, so turn this off. We don't have to worry about that. Don't worry about that. We got like, so I just got the and to make my battery last longer, put the screen in so the camera's on, you can just watch it here. And it looks like it's going to last you the full rest of the day without having to change it. So the camera's fine. It's just you don't need to do thing on here. Obviously, this thing quite a bit. This is a mic right here. Maybe a little, but it also goes straight away in the direction. Why am I wearing this? Okay. Another thing, whenever you do is rec lights on 11. I'll get over here quick after I race so I can sign off and stuff. All right, everybody, as you can see, you got Moto 9 Runabout rec lights on the line. I'll give you the schedule again real quick. You can see we're doing 12 races total today. We're on 9 Runabout rec lights. After this, you're going to have race 10, ski 4-stroke lights, and then 11, ski Vet GP and Masters GP, and Moto 12 Runabout Pro Am stock. We're on number 9 right now. So I'm going to hand the camera off to the wonderful Miss Charity Snyder so that I can go get ready for my race. So there will be no more announcing for the day, but you guys can figure out what's going on. And big thanks to Charity and Brian for helping me out. I'm going to go to get down on the track. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll be here again tomorrow doing a whole half of motos. I might do the morning. But yeah, thanks to everybody for tuning in. Tell your friends. Share it. Thanks for Charity for being my pitch hitter on the camera. I'm going to go ahead and turn the mic off. You guys just enjoy the sounds of the skis and enjoy the racing. Come on out here tomorrow. I think the weather might even be a little better. Yeah. Closing this saves a lot of battery, and it's at like 50% right now. It's still showing 50. And we only have 3 left, so let's get this going.
Are you going to Mexican tonight?
Yeah. It's a friend's place is keeping the place open later for us. Like normally they close at 8, so we're getting there at 7:30.
Charles?
Yeah.
He's 11. I just came in a little early so he could get ready.
No, it goes from flat to a lot rougher than this. We're actually pretty lucky
check. All right, sorry guys, the camera battery ran out right during our last race. That's like